a huge growth in just consciousness among consumers about finding out where their products are made, what are the conditions for workers. Again, the biggest thing working against people opting for purchasing fair trade is not knowing where it comes from. So if we can put before, in our educational programming, if we can put before consumers the faces of the producers, that helps them be aware that there are human beings behind what they're consuming. So this growing awareness, what I find among people that I'm talking with at events, is that they're looking for a broader array of fair trade products. They want to know about more sustainability in the things they're consuming. So, you know, most popular, we think coffee, tea, sugar, chocolate are kind of luxury items, or we go to find fair trade gifts at 10,000 Villages, or some of our vendors when we're celebrating World Fair Trade Day in Daley Plaza. And they go, oh, that's nice, you know, we can get gifts, but I want to buy things I wear every day. I want to buy fair trade sheets. I want to buy fair trade electronics. So what's interesting is I think people want to purchase ethically. They don't, we see the whole ripple effect of an expose about, you know, a fire at a factory in Bangladesh. People don't want to be involved in that kind of abuse. Or, you know, workers in a Foxcam electronics factory in China. People will act and pay more if they know that the people they're engaged with in that purchasing and relationship are living well. So our job is to let consumers know that there are people out there and how they can change. So I think, you know, there was a whole kind of push by people to have fair trade electronics. How can I get a fair trade cell phone? Well, we're not there yet, and I don't believe that we're ever going to see, you know, all products certified as fair trade. But I think when companies know consumers care about those things, they behave differently. They want to be able to reassure their customers that they are getting products that haven't abused anyone. And once consumers let corporations know their interest in that, then I believe we see large corporations change their behavior. We see them responding to consumer demand for that kind of transparency. And I think in effect, you know, beyond just fair trade products, we can see that the broader range of our consumption is going to be, you know, met with products that are more ethically consumed. One of the greatest impacts of fair trade, besides just wages for the workers, is the notion of a fair trade premium that goes to communities. So we've had some great stories of coffee producers from Ethiopia who are able to show us from their fair trade premium water projects that have happened in their community, schools that have happened in their community, and those are the direct result of fair trade that says over and above the individual, we're concerned about the sustainability of those communities. And so the workers in that co-op get to decide how that premium is used and, you know, make priorities like any of us do in kind of community planning to see where will that premium go for a particular year. But yeah, we have in Chicago had stories shared with us about certainly probably largest among that would be prioritizing schools for getting kids into school. Certainly commodities for a while have been the most visible, the most popular. Chicago Fair Trade is very supportive of, you know, buying local when you can. That's healthy for us, that's healthy for the planet, but we're never going to be growing coffee, bananas, tea, sugar in Illinois. So really the awareness is that products that we can't grow locally, we should be consuming those with fair trade certification. I think those have been probably most publicly aware, people are most publicly aware of those commodities. There's quite a growing trend now with certainly accessories, jewelry, apparel. I think fair trade apparel is really entering the market in a much broader way now. And I think that's good, especially when, we're made aware that there are sweatshops that are not providing health and safety standards for workers. There's a perception that fair trade products are a lot more expensive than other products. That isn't always the case, and I think some of that has to do with the quality of the product. If we're comparing a fair trade cup of coffee with other what are considered gourmet coffees, those are pretty comparable. Now, fair trade coffee is going to cost more than Folgers, which is considered a lower quality. So in some ways, to really decide is it more expensive or not, you have to compare the product quality. Now, one very successful business, Maggie's Organics, they source products that are organic. They have an array of, you can buy Maggie's organic wool socks. I just got some for my husband. They don't really cost much more than a regular good quality wool sock. The difference is probably the owner may be getting somewhat less in the whole profit. We could spend a lot of time discussing what is enough profit. So that's for the business person to decide what they think they need to get out of that business. But I think if you compare quality products, the difference isn't that great. One of the huge advantages, I think, for fair trade businesses is you have a whole consumer movement out there directing consumers to those products. So in Chicago, we're creating awareness all the time and saying, shop with these businesses. Most other businesses don't have someone directing a consumer group of people towards them. So in many ways, the advantage for a fair trade business is that they are entering an arena, a kind of partnership with consumers that's saying, we're committed to providing you with quality products, and we're committed to your passion for global awareness and global responsibility. So they enter a relationship with the consumer in a different kind of way than I think most traditional businesses might. Really, the only difference between a fair trade business and a traditional, what we would call mainstream business, would be the orientation of the owner of that business. Do they want a positive relationship with the environment, with the workers that are producing products that they're going to sell? And so a fair trade business can be set up as a nonprofit or a for-profit, but it's the orientation. Is that business owner concerned about something beyond just making the most money at the expense of whoever? And that notion of transparency and being willing to share how that business is done is probably the most dynamic difference.